Hi, I'm Elle. My pronouns are they, she.
You need to find God.
Oh, honey, didn't you hear? God is trans.
What did you just say?
See, I grew up going to church thinking it would connect me to God, only to then be told that I would burn forever if I didn't follow your rules.
Well, that's just the truth.
It wasn't until I broke free from your fear-mongering and stopped trying to fit into your limited, self-serving ideas of what divinity looks like that I was able to find an actual connection to my divine resonance that continues to guide me towards the truth of my trans identity.
Okay, so you went from being in one religious group to being in another. Trans ideology, or wokeness, is a religion. I stopped trying to fit into your limited, self-serving ideas of what divinity looks like. This is too obvious. Thank you for saying this.
I don't believe that God is found in some rule book that you follow just to feel better than those you've been taught to judge.
You're a trans activist claiming that you don't follow this rule book in order to feel better than the ones you judge. What you just said describes more your people than Christians. Your people invented cancel culture, calling everyone who disagrees with you transphobic, which, if it's a real term, means that you're a horrible, horrible human being. In your religion, it doesn't matter how much you believe in wokeness. You will never be good enough. You will never be woke enough.
I believe that God is love, and love is what we are, and love is what made me who I am today.
Okay, that's actually really beautiful.
So, my friend, if you had truly found God, then you'd be less concerned with changing me and more concerned with loving me.
I have a question for you. Why are you not able to just love yourself, be your authentic self, without including other people in your process? Because the last time I checked, being yourself 100% is about who you are as an individual, and it's not about other people. Other people cannot or shouldn't define who you are. Every single time I hear trans activists say, I'm just being my authentic self, it's not true. They are 24/7 desperate, so desperate for other people's attention, validation, and affirmation. And that's why I don't believe that the majority of trans activists are truly trans. Real transsexuals don't identify as trans people because they just want to live their lives as if they were normal men and women. It's kind of the whole point of transitioning. Some don't even tell their surroundings that they're born as the opposite sex because they don't want that form of attention. Because they actually have a personality, unlike trans activists. You're not being your authentic self if you constantly have to say it. That's something I've noticed in real life, and I'm not talking about trans here. When people say, I'm just being myself, they're not. They're trying, which is fair. It's difficult, it's a process, but they're not really. One of the most intolerant and judgmental religions we have in the West is wokeness. And just to clarify, when I say wokeness, I also mean gender and trans ideology. The followers of this religion have their own language. Listen to this.
My partner and I recently got engaged, and I did not think I was ever gonna get married. When I came out as trans, I basically gave up on the idea altogether. For a lot of reasons, for sure. Definitely one, because I really struggled with feeling desirable as a trans person. Like, I was already feeling insecure presenting as like a skinny white twink at the time. And when I started transitioning, I just felt so displaced. All the cisgender gay guys were looking for men, so that's all they would see in me. And I was too scared to make myself available for cisgender straight men because a lot of the violence that the trans community faces is inflicted by the cis straight men who are attracted to us.
If you didn't understand a lot of what this person said, don't worry, it makes you normal. Unfortunately, I understood it, but I'm not that normal, so... This is an example of woke language. And he's also expressing his religious beliefs. The religious belief that trans people experience a lot of violence. It's not a fact, but these people believe in it, so... Another religious aspect is when he said, I did not think I was ever going to get married when I came out as trans. In woke religion, it says that trans people cannot find love, or it's extremely hard for them to find love because society is so transphobic and life is so unfair for trans people. We're perfect, authentic, and so on, but society is the reason why we're not happy. You know, it's completely fair if this person didn't think that he was going to get married. Just overall, it's a completely natural feeling to have when you first get engaged. But why is this person making his transness, if that's what he is, relevant in this conversation?
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get okay with being alone. And literally the minute I gave up on that, Ezra came into my life. Ezra is also a trans person, so he actually understood like all of those fears and hesitations that I was feeling.
I love this so much because it reminds me of Christians, religious Christians, or any other religion talking about the exact same thing. I thought I had to give up on love because I couldn't find anyone who shared my values, my beliefs. But then this person came into my life who's also a Christian. I'm not making fun of the concept of finding someone who believes in the same things as you, but what this trans activist is saying is something that I've heard so many times in very religious Christian circles.
He was just so patient and affirming, and felt like with him I could be the person that I was when no one was around. And that's the first time I experienced that. There's no doubt in my mind that we both found each other because we were both radiating in that energy of a person who knows who they are. Like when you are radiating you become a magnet to everything that is meant for you. It's simple math, really.
Yeah, it sounds like simple math, but also extremely spiritual. But you do you, I don't judge. Here's a video of the same trans activist who's trying to educate the non-believers, meaning the cisgenders, on what he thinks is the trans experience.
Someone once asked me, when did you know you were in the wrong body? And I've learned that this is how a lot of cisgender people understand the trans experience. But I personally don't take estrogen because I feel like my body is wrong. I don't see gender and sex as these two opposing boxes. Like I'm not moving from one wrong box to another. I am not taking estrogen to become a woman.
Right, because you believe that you are a woman to begin with. As we all know, that's not how it works.
I take estrogen to guide my body towards more comfort. I wasn't meant to be born in a different body. I believe that I was meant to be born in this body so I could have this experience, to embody the truth of how malleable our physical form actually is, to help people disidentify with these limited binary structures and find peace and comfort in the chaotic, ever-changing complexity that is the human experience.
Again, this sounds extremely spiritual. He's actually right about some small things, but he's making this way too complicated. Maybe it's because he's not actually trans and he doesn't know what to say, because he doesn't know what it's like. Who knows?
Like, I'm literally growing boobs. Like, this tiny bit of juice that my body already naturally creates is doing that. Like, we're not so different. Trigger warning. Whew. Too bad. I really believe that trans people are a form of evolution because there is nothing more human than transformation.
In religious woke trans circles, injecting yourself with cross-sex hormones on camera is a form of ritual. It sounds weird, but am I wrong? The followers of the religion believe that if they inject themselves with cross-sex hormones, it means they're trans, and some even believe that they can become the opposite sex by doing this, by going through the transition. And you might wonder, isn't that what you're doing, Marcus? No, I don't believe that getting testosterone injections would make me a man, because I know that I'm not one and I'll never be it. But I do know I would look like one if I get these injections, so that's the point. We don't see it as a religious ritual because we don't believe in trans ideology. We do this to ourselves to alleviate a mental disorder. That mental disorder is causing us pain, and we want to alleviate that pain. In many cases, going through the physical transition works. And the reason why transitions benefit us is because we are actually chronic gender dysphoric people. Trans activists, most of them, do not deal with gender dysphoria. They don't know what it's like. They will never know. But they're really good at appropriating the trans identity. To be honest, I am not sure what you mean by trans people are a form of evolution. Trans people exist due to the mental disorder gender dysphoria, and mental disorders are natural, are uncontrollable, and they're not socially constructed, which makes me a little bit confused because that's what your people believe. Sex, gender, sexuality, sexual orientation are socially constructed. If you're trying to validate your transness, maybe don't bring up evolution. You know it's against the holy book. I definitely agree with him when he says that we're not born in the wrong body because that's not possible. Trans people are born into the right bodies. The only thing that went wrong is how we feel about our biological sex, our bodies. When he says that he doesn't believe he's trying to become a woman, it sounds based, but I'm afraid he's not. Remember, he's a they, she. So what I think he meant was, I'm not within the binary. And that doesn't make sense because why take cross-sex hormones? estrogen, the female hormone. Whatever you gotta do, buddy. I know that a lot of woke people today were raised extremely Christian. So what I don't understand is, why are they creating this new religion when they're so against religion in general? They are so against extremism, strict rules within Christianity, or what they believe is Christianity, but they create their own strict rules. It is so hard to be a good person today, according to these woke people. Even if you are woke, it's hard to be one of the good ones. You can always mess things up, be offensive, transphobic, and so on. Is it because they're lying about being against religious Christians? What they're doing, what they're fighting for, has nothing to do with being against religions? Or is it due to the horseshoe effect, where both sides of the extremes agree a lot more than they think? Thank you all for watching this video. If you want to see more content like this, remember to hit subscribe and the notification bell. If you want to support me and my work, my PayPal is in the description down below. You can also support me through locals.com or by becoming a member of this channel. I love you all and I hope to see you in my next video. Peace out.